Ba-da-ba.
You guys are such ass.
Welcome to The Second Wall, a binge-free zone where we look at a series and discuss it one game at a time. This time we are discussing Squid Game Season 2, episodes 3 to 4. It can be found on most podcasts and social media platforms, a full list of which can be found at beardyandthebeast.com. Please watch along and then join Drew and I in the playground to discuss.
Why do we always gotta be right?
Because we understand the media?
Yeah. It's just... So, last recording I said that I was cautiously hopeful.
Yes.
And I'm glad I was only cautiously hopeful. The quality of the episode did not improve, unfortunately.
No.
And the only actual intrigue I have right now, it's not Frontman coming in as 001, the most obvious play ever.
I kind of hate that play, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. The only thing that's even interesting, again, is 011.
Yeah.
Like, what she's doing versus the organ harvesters and, like, her motivation for being there and how many times she's been there.
Yes.
Go ahead. Oh, these are the things that are interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Handsome Cop had a chance. They blew it. Calling it already.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, 4, 5, 6, I just knew it was going to be a nice show. So, where'd all that good writing go?
So, okay, let's start with 001. Frontman is a terrible decision. Like, having the intrigue of 001 in the first season worked well because we knew there was something, but we didn't know what.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it actually made sense for him to want to play the game one last time before, before he's gone. Frontman has no reason to be there still. Like, what, you want to watch 4, 5, 6 up close? Why? And we also will now not have any worry about him dying because it's already a twist they played.
Okay, to kind of like steelman the situation as it is as best as I can.
Good luck.
Thank you. It's a great task, but I will take it upon myself. Whatever the front man is going through, which they haven't shown to us, and we'll see if they even do. The only good reason I can see for him to join the game is to obviously get close to 4, 5, 6, because he must know why 4, 5, 6 came back. What was his motivation? It's the only thing that makes sense as to why he would do that. The problem is, why does he care?
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I get the feeling they thought it was like this massive twist. And it'd be a big shock and awe, but it's not. It's like, I agree with the idea of, trying to see what his motivation is. But yeah, why? How does this help him know the motivation any better than just watching? And I'm pretty sure he knows his motivation anyway. It's not like he didn't tell him or something before he gassed him.
Yeah, we have no lead up as to why the front man would join. There's nothing established in his character history. Everything he's doing should be reflective of Handsome Cop, who they've already deemed this organization has eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
So they know Handsome Cop is doing Handsome Cop things.
Yeah.
We already know they have a mole.
Yep.
Which we called. So he
Yep.
already knows that Handsome Cop is doing Handsome Cop things. So why is his first response to go into the game?
Yeah. And they just did like the bad um swap out. It's like, oh look, there he is drinking his whiskey and watching the game, and then all of a sudden, no, he's in the game. Like, why? What no. And it's not like the front man isn't an organizer. He's just another guy doing his thing. Now, I would have been interested to get more of the play that you were talking about if we had our recruiter in the game. So, I mean, that'd be pretty obvious to people. But I mean, it would have made more sense.
Mm-hmm. I was sad. Because there was potential there, and I feel like it's squandered.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I should feel going into episodes 5 and 6. Because what the heck?
Yeah. I don't know what they're going for. I mean, on the plus side, again, we did get more of 11. It doesn't feel like anything's being built up.
Mm-hmm. Especially knowing how short the series is. And they go into a 2-episode game.
Yeah.
Like how many games are we getting out of this? I don't think we're getting 6 days.
I don't think we're getting 6 days.
How could we get 6 days? This it feels more rushed than Arcane season 2. Far more rushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And they're dawdling in the first 4 episodes.
Yep.
I would have forgiven. I was actually forgiving the slow movement in episode 1 and 2 until episodes 3 and 4. Nothing was improved there.
No. I think it honestly started feeling super contrived.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was already like, interesting that 4, 5, 6 knew someone in the first season. But that seemed to be unique. Everyone they've introduced knows at least one other person in the game. I was like, but why? And they're all dicks again. Except the mom.
Well, I like 222.
Yeah.
It's my iZone waifu, Joe Yuri.
So I'm happy that they're giving us a bit with 11. But at the same time, they're not giving us enough with 11.
Yeah, I feel like half the focus should be on 11.
Yeah. I mean, especially where we've got the father of the kid in there. It's like, cool, we're actually getting some conundrums.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not focusing on them. It's the part that we both said would make this a lot more interesting. Other than the fact that she's doing it. I mean,
they've been doing it for a while.
And I guess she's not a big fan of the organ harvesting, which I still hate as a plot point, but at least they're trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, well, at least the organ harvesting is not being done by the organization.
Yeah.
It's not an aspect to the game. It's leeches on the game who are feeding off of the refuse,
Yeah.
Terrible analogy.
Yeah. I find it so weird that these games only happen like once every 3 or 4 years because they straight up said that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We actually hired real doctors this time instead of just getting participants in the game to help the participant in the game to help so we could feed them information." And this is 3 years later.
I mean, I'll take it as that, but it could just be that they're confident enough to start it up again. But I don't think either way it affects the story one bit.
No, not at all.
No.
I feel like again it's just trying to write some plot holes because it was things that didn't make any sense and didn't serve the original season. So they're trying to at least make it do something in this season. Again, giving us 11's moral quandary.
Yeah, like she's definitely caring, but
Yeah.
her perception of the type of people who go into this game does not carry a high regard.
Well, to be fair, from what we saw in the first season.
The whole thing about like, no, you came here so I could, put these type of people out of their misery.
Yeah. Oh, these people make no sense to me. I don't think they're not playing with anything they're setting up, and it's bothering me so much. In the games, sorry, my brain sidetracked. So in the games themselves, it's like, okay, no one has any reason to be believing 456. It makes perfect sense for everyone to think he's a plant. So why are they agreeing to listening to him at all? Then on top of that, why it seems like the vote shouldn't have been exactly the same as the first vote. It was neck and neck down to the last person making the vote. I think all of that just bothered me. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, there was a lot of like contrivances. There's a lot of convenience in storytelling that's occurring.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is a sloppily organized, like, shot for shot or experience for experience with the beginning of Squid Game season 1.
Yeah.
And like the situations as they were going to the pictures, and then they did the event that was the same event, and then they had the vote, and how it was similar in both.
Yeah.
And how nothing changes even when a powerful voice of reason's there. But again, you're right. There's no reason for them to assume that he's right. In fact, given the fact that it's a game and that a huge amount of money is on the line, they don't even have to expect that he's a plant. They could assume that he's just trying to use some tactic to win the game himself.
Yeah, exactly.
So, unfortunately, all that good characterization and actual writing, like script writing, the line writing from the first 2 episodes is just gone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe our character anymore.
No.
He was already, like, fantastical. Like, I was worried that they were going to try to, like, John Wick him because of all of a sudden he was, like, super serious and seemed more capable.
Yeah. Well, that didn't last, did it?
Well, I'm glad they didn't go that route, because I would have hated it too. But I mean, I did enjoy the situation where he tried to be a voice of reason, and then everybody came out and was like, no, knowing that you have been through this before means we have an edge now, so that's why I voted yes. And I'm like, I'm happy we can kind of like punch our guy while he's down, but it doesn't serve the story at all.
Actually, I think that serves the story worse. And so, cool. They have an edge now. So they all know how to win. Right? Assuming that the game stayed the same.
Mm-hmm.
So they know how to win, which means that prize pool still isn't getting any higher.
Mm-hmm.
There's literally no difference between quitting and playing that edge.
Yeah. I do appreciate that they did the obvious thing and had a different game, but they were bound
Yes.
to anyways.
Oh, of course.
Like,
I was surprised we had the red light, green light, honestly. So I guess it's a good way to call the crowd right at the beginning.
yeah. I mean, we're looking at like a 50% retention rate of contestants.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that came out of red light, green light was like more characterization or of 11.
Yeah. Which honestly surprised me because I thought those were like automated turrets, the first one.
Yeah, I thought they were too.
So
But
again, that might have just been changed so they have, characterization for 11.
I don't know. Yeah, aside from 222 and the absolute mystery of the buffoonery of including our frontman 001 getting picking apart why he entered the game like in the next recording is the only thing from the games that I give a care about. And I'm
Um,
just disregarding our handsome cop and his team now. Like we're just
well,
calling it.
yeah, there's nothing coming out of that at all.
The,
It, 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 it was it was filler in the first two episodes. That's
Mhm.
what that's what this is pointing to me now. And again, it just goes back to what I said. They should have just had if again, I would have been much happier if we had these two episodes, if we had all four of these episodes interlaced together.
I don't even think
Probably
fixing the
wouldn't
structure would have fixed the.
no, probably wouldn't have, but I think it would have fixed the jarring feeling that we have.
Yeah, I guess.
Or at least then it's like structured similar to the first, like structured more to the first one. We
Mm-hmm.
might have had a hope that, hey, maybe Handsome Cop will get something done. Though, again, never thought he would because he didn't in the first season.
They should have scarred him up a bunch.
Right?
So he was like Two-Face it, right? So he's not so handsome cop anymore.
Right?
Um I mean, at least his character makes more sense than the first season. It's not by much,
I was gonna say we got a real high bar there.
but there's reason to include him now.
Yeah.
But it's not like the reasons to include him really matter anymore because he doesn't really have his connections with the police station, the police
You know,
force.
you know what they could have done more? Because I that might have made this a little more interesting.
Mm.
Um if Handsome Cop and 456 actually talked and hey, frontman is my brother. It might have given us something to go with.
Well, I'm
But
wondering, like, kind of going back to 11. I'm wondering if she's going to put her fingers on the scales for the painter father.
I I am I'm not sure if she will, but I do think it's going to be she might. I think at the very least it is going to be a plot point we're getting here.
Mm.
I think I think they're leading up to this is like the first time she's understanding the consequences of what
Just
she's doing.
I figured it out. Go on,
Yep.
sorry, I figured it out. Go.
All right. I was gonna say, yeah, it's she's understanding the consequences, and hey, these are like actual real people, real lives, and maybe they're not all assholes, but there's just bad situations, and She's got, even though she doesn't have a connection with him, she's got a connection with the kid and cares about that.
Mm.
All right, what'd you figure out?
He's gonna be one of the next ones they try to harvest.
Mm.
And she'll knowingly not finish him, and that'll lead to like the killing of our organ harvesters or them being revealed, etc. Maybe he survives, maybe he doesn't, but
Yeah.
all that for, because like I feel it already. I feel it in my bones that everything that's going to get set up in this season is just going to be unsatisfying payoffs. And like that would follow suit from what we've seen in the first 4 episodes, how they're actually treating the storylines.
Yeah.
It does kind of make me want to go back and watch the first season to rip into that some, though.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're probably a little gentle on it.
Probably a little gentle.
So I want to talk about things. Let's talk about the things I want to talk about.
All right, let's talk about the things you want to talk about.
So, Top, or as he's called in this, Thanos, number 230. You had the honor of watching a music video with me before we started recording this episode.
I did.
And that was Fantastic Baby by Big Bang, where Top is one of the rappers of Big Bang. I don't know if he's officially still in Big Bang. There was a line in this episode that was insanely hilarious to me that you would have not gotten because you're not like K-mediafied like me.
Yeah.
So when the first senorita said to him, "You've been high?"
Yeah.
The reason why that's funny to me, marijuana is not legal in Korea.
Right.
And I'm not going to pass a moral judgment based on that because I live in a place where marijuana is very legal. So there's not going to be any value judgments there, but he did break a law.
Yeah.
He was caught. He smoked weed. And this was, this came out before his entrance into the military. I think he was trying to go into public service stuff, because your public service in Korea for men before the age of 30 can either be the military, or if you're lucky, you can get into public service.
Okay.
Now, I might be partially wrong about this because I didn't follow it super a lot, so I'm like, correct me in the comments if I'm incorrect. But he essentially went into that public service after this exposure of what had happened.
Okay.
And it disparaged his character. Like, it's strange to me that he's even in a TV series. We certainly haven't seen any music from him in the last like 4 or 5 years. I'm pretty sure he was downgraded from public service to like actual like street cleanup.
Okay.
Like being a street sweeper kind of thing for 2 years. When like I showed, we did the BTS stuff, right?
Yeah.
Big Bang was their major predecessor.
Okay.
So Big Bang were the kings before they were dethroned by BTS.
Okay.
And this guy was on the top of the world, known worldwide, art collector, fashionista.
Maybe he's making a comeback.
Well, maybe. But I thought it was so funny that he came into this and he had that line. It's almost one of the first thing. He's a pill-popping, famous rapper. And one of the first things that it says is, "You've been high?" Question mark. I don't got anything against Top 2. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an entertaining situation to me.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for him in the way that if he was caught smoking weed in North America, he'd probably get more fans. Instead,
Yeah.
like, he almost ruined the careers of the people in his group.
Oof.
Yeah, they're mean.
Yeah. Well, speaking of him, in context of the show, and we had our psycho character, a couple of psycho characters in the first season. He's just so over the top with it, just like literally pushing a bunch of people during red light, green light, and then just prancing around. I kind of wanted him to jump when it turned around, so it caught him moving.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried that they had a part that he tried out for and then they rewrote it as Thanos.
Mm.
I don't think this is the type of character that Top would request to play.
Mm.
I think it's most likely he tried out and they're like, oh, this guy's got a big name. Like, most of the people in our show can't act anyways, so that was mean.
So true. It's so true.
So let's write it a little bit, and we'll make this over the top character based on his life and poke fun at things.
Well, I think there was like maybe it's a combination of both, because again, we still needed, like, they're mimicking it so close that you still needed that psychopathic villain character.
Mm-hmm.
But so if they rewrite that character to make a bit of references, he's still supposed to be the equivalent of the one from the first season. It's just
Here's my thing. Like, no one saw him pushing people. He got like 8 people killed or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I do have to throw this out there. That remix of "Fly Me to the Moon" during red, green light was actually genius.
Yes, it was so good.
I really, really enjoyed the juxtaposition of that song against the violence.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
Asian cultures really love Sinatra, don't they? Sinatra, that song's everywhere.
That also brings me to 222.
Yes.
My bae. My one and only. iZone's very own Joe Uri. So this was the second music video we watched, was iZone's Secret Story of the Swan. I could have showed you her solo work. But I decided to go with iZone because I've talked about it more than enough on these casts and outside of these casts. I really like these K-pop making the band things.
Yes.
I really enjoy just getting like 100 people together and then like there's going to be 8 or 10 of you when we're done.
Yeah.
And we're apparently going to take the best ones and the most popular ones. Apparently there was producers that had fingers on the scales of the first bunch of these, and it came out and it was a huge thing.
That never happens. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it was like bad. So in iZone was Produce 48 out of Japan and then a bunch of Korean trainees. They came together. I think there was 96 of them. 48 of each. No, wait, that's not right.
Yes, that'd be right.
I don't think I have the numbers right. Anyways, it was equal between the Japanese and the Korean contestants, and then they all tried out, and they came down and they made this group, and Joe Uri was part of it. And they were together for like 2 or 3 years. Then she got into solo stuff, and now she's into acting.
Okay.
Had I not actually seen a thing on the internet,
Hmm.
which was Joe Yuri or that girl from Squid Game, was what it said, I wouldn't have recognized her at all.
Mm.
As you could saw in the music video, like, I mean, she was probably on a very restrictive diet at that time. Like, that
Yeah.
jaw was sharp.
Yeah.
But now she's actually rounded, like, more suiting to her role.
Mm.
I don't buy that she's pregnant, like 6 or 7 months pregnant or however
Yeah.
that she's supposed to be, but that's more a costuming thing, right?
Mm.
Like, her acting has been fine for as little that she's had to do so far.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been all right. She's definitely one of the more interesting characters.
Yeah, outside of who's gonna last longer, the loud mom or the loud son. Yeah, Joe Yuri 222 is the only one that I actually like care to see what happens with her character.
Yeah. The only other character that I was interested in was the first one to get killed. It was like, oh, 169 seems interesting. Nope. Then that fucking bee lands on her.
Oh, you're talking about Senorita.
Yes. I'm like, okay, there could be some interesting dynamic here. I'm curious what's going to happen. Like, nope, not anymore. Thanks, game.
You know what? I wonder who that was. You said 169?
Yeah, I think it was 169.
Okay, one sec. You sure it's not 196?
Oh, did I not say 196? I say 16. Oh, yeah, I meant 196. Sorry. I'm clearly dyslexic today.
Have you tried not being?
On?
Okay, it looks like she's an actress. Which is really funny to me that they have the serious role 222 went to the K-pop girl, and the haughty, like, probably pompous, like, I wouldn't say full of herself, but she definitely knows how hot she is,
Yeah.
went to the actress.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because, switch from idol to actor.
Yeah.
The thing.
I mean, actually, it's a very common thing in Korea, because it's easier for them to, like, agencies to sell their actors and actresses if they already have some type of following.
Yeah.
And they have K-pop down to such a formula, and it's so mechanical now.
Yeah.
That they can just pump them out.
Yeah. I think Japan has a bit of that too. I mean, that was like the whole plot of, or big part of Perfect Blue. Right? She's an idol wanting to turn actress. So I think it's just that East Asian. I think it's an East Asian thing.
The thing is, like, it is different, very different in Japan compared to Korea, and they show it if you were to watch Produce 48 when they made the group iZone. Because a lot of the
What group did they make again?
Oh, it's called iZone. I've also seen people say it is one, I''S1, but I don't like that. Yeah. So they don't get all the lessons and the in-depth training and all that in Japan. It's more about like a pretty face who can do the like very simple dance moves, and how popular they can make them.
Fair enough.
If you ever want to see
that makes sense. I've seen a lot more shorts of K-pop stars than J-pop idols.
True. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what happens 222, not just because I'm biased. Nor am I like a giant Joe Yuri fan, but if she acts well, I'll definitely be converted.
Yeah.
I was more a fan of
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I was more a fan of this show.
Should we just stop watching this show and start watching Produce 48? It's got dancing and singing, and a lot of it's actually quite good. Super heavy editing. So funny.
It's probably got better writing.
I mean, that's probably true. You just burned both those programs.
Right, so I haven't heard. I don't know. I haven't heard as many people talking about this version of Squid Game as I have the other. So I'm not sure. I'm wondering what the general consensus of the show is.
I mean, the
I don't know
first Squid Game was like pandemic adjacent, and I mean, not including Korea.
Unique on the mainstream side of things.
Yeah. And like the story didn't need to continue.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was as heavily advertised either.
Yeah. I do know it's still like the #1 show for, I don't know if it still is.
Squid Game? All those numbers are made up.
I know they are.
Like, the streaming services do not report accurate numbers. I bet the most.
They're trying to say Arcane lost money. I'm like, how do any of your shows make money, Netflix?
It's true. It's a shame because I wish we were watching another Arcane.
Right? Even with its flaws in season 2.
Yeah, even then, aside from old War Crimes Kate, like the rest of it was really good.
Stupid Kate.
Anyways, I can, at this point with Squid Game episode 2, aside from like the novelty of having an old K-pop rapper, there's very little for me to look forward to in that series now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping that I would be wrong. I was hoping that it wouldn't. I was hoping that we would be at odds about the series throughout the entire thing, where I would be like, no, actually, it's deeper than that, and it's about these motivations, and if you look at it from this perspective, it's like, no, I've flipped 180. I am there with you. I think I'm more negative than you about this now.
See, and the reason why I think you're more negative about it than me right now, because I agree, I think you are. But I think it's because you had higher hopes from those first 2 episodes where I'm like, this isn't the same show.
That could have been a good thing.
It could have been a good thing, and I was hoping you were right, and it would have been a good thing.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. And I mean, so the reason I wanted to watch is one, I think it's kind of neat to just do a continuation. We covered the first season. It was all right. So let's give it the second season. And I was hoping that they just would have fixed the things that gave us problems in the first season. And I'm pretty sure they found a way to make it worse.
Yeah, I super felt like in the first 2 episodes that they were turning around and actually trying to address the problems with the first season.
Yeah.
Because it felt like that they were laying the groundwork, the foundation to do that.
Yeah.
And then they didn't.
Yeah.
And
again, my bigger issue with it was just the pacing. I think they needed to do it as flashbacks, but as you said, that's not going to fix it now. It wouldn't have fixed it.
It's half over. It's more than half over.
Yep, sure is. And these are long episodes too.
Yeah, they're like an hour.
All of these episodes are like an hour, 10 minutes. It's like, Be like Carol and Tuesday, the only season that actually exists, and be effective with your frame usage.
Why did we
Stop
need
wasting time.
why did we need 20 minutes of a 5-minute game?
Oh God, was it that low? Was that?
I mean, it felt that long. I don't know if it was actually that long. And it didn't have any of the characters we cared about. Actually, you know what? I will give one thing. I was wondering how they were going to address the trans woman.
Yeah.
Because, like, even in like Japan, Korea, China, they're still not very accepting and not nearly as liberal minded for that sort of thing as the West is.
Yeah.
No matter how much I have friends saying, but Sailor Moon this, Sailor Moon that, it's like you're trapped in your bubble. You don't understand.
No, that's actually a big thing with shoujo. Shoujo pushes those boundaries very purposefully.
Yeah. But I think like the loud mom was like, "Oh, that kind of person," and then the son was like, "No, no, you can't say that. Like, be nice." And
yeah,
they weren't dropping like, I mean, it could happen in the future, but they weren't dropping like F slurs and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm happy that they didn't try to turn it into a comedy character, because I would have absolutely loathed that.
So that character just again makes me go, it's like, yep, Liar Game did it better. The main characters in that there was an Otokonoko.
Yeah.
So it was there as well, and it was actually, did get played into the story well, and it's kind of like,
I mean, I was happy that they didn't make a big show about it. It's like it's one of those things. The only way to get true acceptance is just by treating everybody the same.
yeah.
So having that person and having them not be a negative stereotype.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that character, I was like, ooh, how are they going to handle this?
Yeah. Well, and I think like they're using it for, it's just the right amount of drama. Like, not that it's being done well overall, but again, it's like, okay, well, this is the reason for the one group forming, because they were all the people that no one wanted anything to do with, and so they band together.
I'll tell you what. I would have picked the trans woman, because I would have been paying attention at the end of Red Light Green Light, and I would have seen 456 and her picking up the guy who was shot.
Yep.
How much courage that takes.
Oh yeah.
You've been to safety and you went back.
Yep.
Like,
and barely made it back.
Yeah. Which means that person is likely to go to that extent for us to win the game.
Yep. 100% agree.
It would have been my first pick.
Yep.
I probably wouldn't have picked 456 because I would have thought they were lying.
Yeah. Or again, even if they're not lying, something sus there.
Yeah, super sus.
All right. So just like with the lying and the organization of the games, what the heck's the point of them having the badges of how they vote it? I thought the games were all of a sudden going to be split between how the vote was done. What was the point of it?
So what I thought it was going to be was a game that was weighed against the people who wanted to leave, or essentially putting it into a position where each side is able to affect the other, meaning that the people who want to leave can make it so that the people who wanted to stay will die more frequently. Or change the numbers.
Yeah, or like even having people go, oh no, you voted to stay, oh, you voted to leave, why would I team up with you? But that wasn't the case anymore. every team was mixed.
Well, part of the problem with the way that it's split is they showed the people who wanted to leave in a cowardly light.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to take up arms against the people who won. They definitely painted the leavers as victims and the stayers as perpetrators.
Yeah.
Whether they meant to or not. But we're not going to have that nighttime brawl like we did in the first season, because we've shown our leavers as cowards, and people who would not take up arms.
Yeah.
So where's the conflict?
Yeah. No, it was. It was one of those scenes. It's like, oh, this makes me hopeful. Like, they changed the way the vote worked. So, because the vote in the first one was just the game ends to, hey, it ends and you get a cut of whatever the prize pool is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they've literally set it up. There's no reason to continue the game. And so again, it's just one of these things. It's like, okay, this is a cool idea, and they're doing nothing with it.
And I don't think they will. And I think that was their. I feel like that was their last chance. Because they could have had some like metagaming. They could have portrayed using 11 and the VIPs. They could have had portrayed the other side, where the VIPs don't care about the people in the games per se. They just want to see the lower class squirm.
Yeah.
And what of it?
Yeah.
Well,
yep.
Aside from our podcast finally somehow meeting one of my interests directly, which is Korean making the band TV shows. They have really good dance ones too. Should actually almost watch the most recent dance one.
You want to know the worst part about what I guarantee we're going to see in the next episode? Guarantee we're going to be swinging back to Handsome Cop. It's going to be useless.
Well, they don't call him Useful Cop.
That's true. It's a good thing he's pretty.
He couldn't even get evidence.
Oh, because you need evidence to.
The only question I have that I want to put to you is, do you think 230 or 222 is going to last longer?
Well, because the show clearly didn't know how to make an original story and is just following the plot of the first one again to a T, 222 is going to live. Is going to last longer.
Do you think 456 is going to live?
I think they're too cowardly to not have him live.
Does that mean they don't have enough time for all the games? So does that mean that eventually they're just going to all vote out?
Either they're all gonna vote out, or they're gonna pull some bullshit with
Handsome Cop.
with Handsome Cop. Actually, I was gonna say with 11.
Mm.
They might try to pull some bullshit with 11. But yeah, it's hard to say.
I mean, we're both hopeful for what they're doing with 11, but they've shown we have a lot of room to get let down by anything positive. That's it. I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done.
All right.
Just one last one.